what things have you found to be the best for you in terms of bringing that competitive side out of you? I know you mentioned in your book fighting and doing some boxing, which is awesome. But what are some things that you feel like is missing in our culture today, especially for men, that has killed their competitive side that they need to actually bring back more of?
Yeah, I think it has to be like there's a difference between physical competitiveness and work, creating a business, whatever. I think that's more it's long term. It's probably more it'll increase chronic stress a little more. But you can fix chronic stress. It's a mindset. It's how you think. You don't have to worry and all that stuff. You can figure that out. But I think physical competitiveness is very important. So I like boxing. That's my favorite sport. So I do that 2-3 times a week. But even just like getting in a rec league, doing that kind of thing, keeping that competitiveness alive. But also, sports are different than training. As you know, you react. You're not following a set pattern and stuff. So I think it's good for just the overall health as well. It trains your body in a different way.
Got it. How have you been keeping active during the whole COVID-19? Because my boxing gym is closed, so I can't even do anything like that. How have you been working around that?
Yeah, me, a buddy, and my godson. My godson's 7, and he's getting into it. He's doing pretty good. It's freaking wicked. But we hired the coach, and I think we're allowed 4 people in a gym at one time. So we just paid him to
Oh,
do
that's
private lessons for the 4 of us, and we do that 2, sometimes 3 times a week. And then I just freaking got everything I needed and put it in my basement gym wise.
got it.
Kind of like quickly, but then I'm gonna redo that whole thing and put a real proper gym in the basement just in case this shit happens again.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I wanted to read something from your book that I highlighted here because I thought this was really important, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. You wrote, "In your own life, if you're unwilling to face your fears, to step outside of your comfort zone, you're not going to perform anywhere near your capabilities. If you shy away from conflict, you never step into the arena of your life. If you persistently choose safety over danger, you're never going to rise above the monotonous existence that we've created for ourselves in a society where near everything is controlled." So I'm just wondering, for most of the guys who are listening to this and who follow me, most of them aren't taking any dangers in life. They aren't taking any risks. They aren't getting past their fears. And I feel like a lot of guys have come into this stage in existence in their life where they're consuming so much information, whether it's podcasts, videos, programs, but they're not actually doing, they're not actually acting. So based on your opinion and what you've learned about being a more masculine man, having higher testosterone, doing all these things, what are some practical steps one person can take or a man can take to actually become that guy who's consistently facing his fears and taking some risks in his life?
Yeah, with like testosterone, it's like, okay, why do guys want to raise testosterone? It's to live a better life. So you've got some bit of ambition in there. But then you have to take it to its next step. If you're gonna do all this stuff to increase your testosterone, but you're not gonna live a better life because of it, or you're not gonna live a more adventurous life or just exciting life or good life or interesting life or a life that makes you happy, then what the hell's the point of being healthy and increasing your testosterone at all?
Right.
So why not take it to the next step and do the things that you think, like everyone's got this idea of what like a great life is, and they think it's a lot of it's relegated to people who are born with this or born with that, but it's not. It's just based on taking actions, facing fears, and getting after it. And the simple steps you can take are just writing down some things you're a little afraid of and doing them, not shying away from them. Like, for example, I'm right next to the Rockies, and bears scare the living shit out of me. Like the grizzlies, they scare the hell out of me, but I still go hiking all the time. And get out into the mountains. It's not a big fear, but it's just still like that little unknown, that uneasiness when you're out there alone. It's kind of exciting. And then you get the struggle up the mountain, and then you get the you know, the feeling of having conquered the mountain at the top and the wildlife and all that stuff. So that, I think hiking, being in nature, doing things like that brings us more back to our genetics, our DNA, our where we are technically supposed to live, and how we're supposed to exist. Like this, to get into the testosterone thing, I've got a book here. It's good. It's called The Depression Cure. So I bought it because I'm like, okay, all these people are suffering from depression. How, if there's a, it intrigued me. It's written by a doctor, but he looked at hunter-gatherer civilizations, and they studied them for 10 years, modern hunter-gatherer civilizations, and there's 0 cases of depression. So they're out, they're not fat. Not a single person is fat. They're out hunting every day. They are in nature all the time. They have a clear purpose. The men hunt, the women take care of the village and so forth. I know gender roles are split and shit like that, but it is what it is. That's like, they're doing what they're supposed to do in each case, because the women have to take care of the kids. The older people are providing wisdom, and they've done their duty, so they're getting taken care of. There's community and so forth, but they're in nature a hell of a lot more than in these little boxes that we're in cities and towns and so forth. So I think with facing fears, the things that bring us back to living like humans, and humans have lived for thousands upon thousands of years, that we've gotten away from, I think that's very important for your testosterone levels, for life, for your mental health and everything.
Dude, it's funny you mentioned that because I started getting more into this journey because of that reason. I was depressed for a very long period of time, and I was always like, what the fuck? You know, I'm following all of the advice that these so-called health experts have given me. You know, I was vegan for 4.5 years, and it was destroying my health,
Yeah,
literally destroying my health.
yeah.
And I was looking at all this stuff, and I'm like, well, why are they saying this stuff is healthy? You know, just eat plants and all this shit. When in reality, I'm depressed, I'm having bloating, I have fatigue. I don't feel like I was when I was 18 or 19 years old. And when I started eating meat again and going on a more paleo style diet, immediately things started getting better. And
Mm-hmm.
then going out into nature and doing things like competitive sports and getting into what our ancestors basically did,
Mm-hmm.
and the depression just completely declined.